Hi class. Okay, so at the very beginning of the semester, I was actually on my honeymoon in Switzerland. So I have some fun pictures from there. That's where I was shooting for this assignment, and that's where all my pictures are from. To answer the questions in the assignment, this is not my first time making prints of my work. The only pictures I've printed before was for like my own enjoyment to hang around my house, or this one other photo class I took a couple semesters ago, not in ASU, but in another college. We actually had an assignment where we had to print the same image from different photo labs and basically compare them. So it was a different assignment, but it also gave the similar kind of idea where like we had to be looking at the printed image and not just the digital image. So generally, I don't regularly make prints of my work. I tend to enjoy them on the computer and then post them to Instagram, share them with friends. I think that the image quality came out pretty good. I printed these images at Walgreens. I think the image quality came out pretty good. They're nice glossy prints. One thing that I noticed about Walgreens is that if you want matte prints, those are only available by mail order. But they're nice, good, high quality prints. One of the challenges for me actually with this assignment was actually creating the contact sheet. I've made contact sheets before, but only out of Lightroom. And so for this class, I was trying to make it out of Photoshop. But I think one of the main issues I had was just that because it was a lot of images being made, my computer was like running kind of slowly and didn't really appreciate what I was asking it to do. So I had to try it a couple times because Photoshop kept on wanting to like quit on me as I was doing it. Another challenge was that because, you know, traveling in Switzerland, I have so many pictures. So obviously a challenge was selecting just 30 and then selecting the 250 for the other PDFs. That was another challenge. What I did for arranging here, I played around with it for a bit, as you saw a little bit at the beginning of the video, kind of moving them around. Right now it's kind of categorized by people. Not really portraits necessarily, but people that I snapped. Just different like other tourists basically that I saw, which was just interesting and fun. Like I like this image because it kind of gives a sense of motion with her hair kind of going this direction and her foot taking the next step. I also like this image because of different colors here. And then I kind of have these, I don't want to say bland landscapes, but they're just not so filled with color. I guess these two are together because of the trees, which I actually like a lot. I like the way that like kind of frames the image, gives it a nice border, and also gives it more color, a little more vibrancy. These images, I like them a lot. They kind of remind me of like The Hobbit, that kind of feel where it's like kind of majestic and grand. It was pretty foggy this day. It was pretty like rainy all day, but it was still beautiful. So then these are kind of together, these landscapes. So like those two together in their own thing with the green frame, and then these are kind of like, maybe this might belong a little bit more over here because I'm thinking that these should be together because they all feature water, although this one was on the train and these are actually on the boat, but they're kind of more like objects, right? Clock, the sign, storefront kind of thing, and more objects. This is out of a window on a train. Then these are also kind of more landscape style, but with a little more detail, a little more color than these landscapes over here. This is not so much of a landscape, but it also works with this over here actually. The way I'm thinking of this is that it's almost like it kind of zooms out. Obviously they're all different images, but like this is a little closer up, a little further out, a little wider, a little wider, a little wider, a little further out. That's kind of why, that's what happened there. It's kind of similar to this, and then these are just kind of different objects. And then these I put together because of color. This has a lot of vibrant color, which I like a lot. And I think that came out nicely, like in this image. In the print, this also has that color, and then this has color but less of it. Same with this and this. Some things I discovered here were like, I do seem to shoot a lot of, I think it's when I'm here with this assignment, I was shooting for on assignment, but these were vacation images at the same time. So I think that when I'm shooting for assignment, I'll shoot much more focused. Like I shot a different assignment I had a while ago. The assignment I was doing was based off of windows. So I came home that day and my memory card was just filled with images of windows and doorways and horizontal and vertical lines, things like that, all relating somehow to windows and doorways and things that we look through, different natural frames. But in this assignment, because first of all, it wasn't necessarily so focused, right? And also because these were also vacation images for me, I find that like I really do shoot like a wide variety. I like to have some people, I like to have landscapes, I like to have the more architecture and objects and things like that. And then those details, and then these more colorful kind of images. Some a little more close up like this one, like filling the frame. Some just like details you see. This is a reflection of an umbrella, just so like different things. So that's something I definitely noticed. My favorite images, I think I already pointed out. I really like the way this one came out in the print because of the different colors. I like this one a lot. I don't even know what it is. It was a cafe or something. This was the name of it. Something about the way the light came out in this image, in the print, I just love. And then I also really like this one because I mentioned I like the motion, the hair, and the way she's looking and the way her foot is up and all of that. I like these landscapes also, and especially these two with the green trees framing the image. I like that a lot. And then the last part of this video, you want us to kind of address what we think about on-screen image in comparison to the printed image. You want us to share our thoughts on that. So I'm kind of noticing already just now I opened this on my screen and I'm seeing this kind of difference. I really think I'm liking the printed image a lot more. There's something, maybe it's the glossy paper that this is printed on, but it's almost like I can see more details even though it is a small print. This one, on the other hand, I think just because of the way this print is small and on the computer I can make it so much bigger, I think I like it better on the screen. I think my opinion here on the difference between the printed image and the digital image is really gonna vary. It's really gonna depend on the image itself. I think some images work really well printed and some of them work just much better to stay digital. I know that I spent some time in the darkroom where we experimented with different kinds of paper, and that makes a huge difference. A huge difference in prints, and that's where like you can really see that the printed image is very, very important. But I almost feel like here these are regular, plain, glossy, like I didn't spend any time printing these, right? I had Walgreens print them for me, regular glossy paper. And I think that that's really gonna vary. If I spend time thinking about what kind of paper I wanna use and using specific paper for specific images and specific subjects, I think that's really gonna make a difference on the difference between the printed image and the digital image. While for this set of images, I think some work better. Like this one I think is much better printed, while this one, I like the digital version better. So I think it's gonna vary a lot. But that's a really interesting assignment. It's really interesting questions that we had to answer here because I don't usually print my images. I rarely see them printed, and that's the truth. And I think it is important for photographers to compare and see kind of what works for them and what works for their images as a way to grow and learn and go from there. So those are my images and those are my thoughts on printed images and this assignment. Thank you for watching.